And we're live. Good evening. How are we all? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to a very rainy and miserable Gatwick airport. So we are heading on a relatively short little hop tonight. Not going far. I'm a little bit kind of in that weird time where it's kind of like still Christmas holidays because the kids are off school and stuff like that. So I'm in a bit of a weird place with my streaming schedule at the minute. But I've got a little bit of time tonight, so I thought we'd do a cool little short hop over from Gatwick to Amsterdam. I said it's probably only going to be about 50 minutes in the air, but we'll do a cold and dark. Just get in catering, all that good stuff, and then we'll start heading over. JD, good evening, Happy New Year to you. How are you? Nice to see you in the chat again. I think YouTube has changed the direction in which the chat goes. That's going to be confusing. So new messages are now appearing at the top, whereas they used to appear at the bottom. That's going to freak me out for a little while. There we go, catering's just finishing up. Baggage is almost there, I think. I'm guessing that little trolley thing is going to move out the way of the baggage door in a minute. Busy over Christmas with work, but still alive. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, it can be a bit sucky if you have to work over Christmas. There goes the baggage truck. I had to do a bit as well myself, so I know where you're coming from. But yeah, got through it, that's the main thing. Oh, look at the hydraulics on that door. That's so cool. The way it flaps. I love that. Right. We better hop into the old flight deck, hadn't we? Get things set up. Get ready to go. Right. Where's my mouse gone? Here we go. Let's hop in. Let's hop in and have a look. Let's have a look. Here we go. Right. So, how are things looking? So Gatwick, not got a lot of wind, 230 and 2. Got a bit more at Amsterdam, 170 and 11. Although we're going to be heading in on runway 18. I've forgotten what the runway is already. That's embarrassing. 18 right. It's right there. So actually a wind at 170 shouldn't cause us too much trouble. That's only like a 10-degree delta, isn't it? So it's not really the not the end of the world. Oh, you got fly-by-wire working. Nice. Yes, you were, weren't you? Yes, you were. I remember that. Oh, that's good. That's good. What is our flight level? 290. Okay. Right, so we are fueled. And ground power unit. What's the fuel truck doing? Probably get rid of the fuel truck now. And we've got the jet bridge on. Let's go to payload. I love this now because if you click this little cloud, it downloads the values from SimBrief. There we go. Hence the suspension adjusted there, but that's fine. Hi David, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Happy New Year to you too. Happy New Year to you all. Hey Colin, how's things? How are we all? First stream of the year. You know, it's really weird. It's almost exactly 1 year to the day since I started this channel. I forget the exact date. It's probably like January the 3rd or the 4th or something like that. But that was the first day I was like, right, I'm going to record a flight today and edit it and upload it. I didn't stream until like July, basically because I was scared. But there's no way I'm doing that live in front of people. What if I mess up? Yay. We can get rid of the jet bridge now. That should clear off. There it goes. So we've just got the ground power unit connected. Right. It's time to get this thing fired up, isn't it? Because we're not going to get very far like this. So, let me get my view in the right place. There we go. Can I have a look at the top panel? Right. Batteries. Got external power available. Nav and logo lights. Let's see if we get this APU rocking and rolling. I think maybe my one of my little goals, I was thinking about this earlier, one of my little goals for this year, since we're now almost a year in, I should really have a go at VATSIM. Stop being such a scaredy cat with that. I sort of hem and haw on that one, because it's like, well, it would be cool to be able to do it, but I'm not entirely sure if it would do much for the stream. Maybe it would. I kind of like the way that our the streams are quite chilled and that we're not really too worried about what ATC are telling us to do. We took the VATSIM test the other day. Thought I could wing it and failed. Oh no. Oh, that puts me off even more. Okay. That does sound a bit scary, I'm not going to lie. Okay, external power can go off. Then we can get our nav. 1, 2, 3. Turned on. Right, fuel pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Crew supply. The oxygen is on. Looking for any white lights down these panels. No, 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 no. Good. Put the no smoking on. What simulator is this? I'm using X-Plane and 12. This is Microsoft Flight Sim, the latest one. It's weird. It's kind of like a lot of people call it Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, which I guess makes sense because that's when it came out, but it's kind of like evolves all the time, so it almost feels like a disservice to date it like that. Good evening, Steve and Angie, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Just getting fired up. Right, I think that's it now for the overhead panel for a moment. Gonna dive into down here and have a quick look. ATSU, AOC, init. Yeah, it's a funny one, Colin. I never quite know what to call it. I think from like a YouTube kind of optimization point of view, it looks like one of the most popular phrases is MSFS, so Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. That seems to be the one. 2022 was so last year. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okie dokie, that looks good. Let's go into init and we'll pull in our flight plan from SimBrief. There it goes. And we'll pull in our zero fuel weight. which is calculated. Oops, wrong one. Silly boy. Lovely. And into our perf page, we'll do takeoff flaps 1/UP0.1. B1, 128 knots. 29, B2, 133. That's looking good. Right, the flight plan. Here we go. Taking off from Gatwick, EGKK. What is it? 26 left is what we're going to be using today. And we're going to use the Dagger 1X. I guess Dagger stands for Dagenham. Which, now my geography around London isn't the greatest, but I'm fairly certain that is where we're going. I'll show you. Oh, if I go into plan. There it goes. Zoom us out of touch. So here's Gatwick. So obviously we've got London, main London sort of up here to the north. We're going to come out, bank around to the left, and then head on south. And then we're going to sort of wrap around the east of London. Ooh, what's going on here? Well, it probably makes sense to get rid of CLN and go straight to... There's a very strange thing it's decided to do there. Spear, dagger. Let's just clear the discontinuity and see what happens. This is where it goes. Ugh, makes a big weird thing. Yeah, there it goes. Why has it done that? It's annoying. Now why have you done that? Do you want to go spear, togfu? Get rid of dagger. Need to get rid of CLN because that's going to be messing us up. That's looking better. It's looking much better already. There we go, so then there's just a discontinuity there. Clear that and those two should join. Nice. Whew. Tell you what, when this nav system starts messing up, I get really weirded out. Nice, we've got a nice straight, continuous line all the way out from Gatwick. Bum 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 bum. And then we whiz across to Amsterdam. Now then, because I am an idiot, I've forgotten what runway we are landing on in Amsterdam. 18 right. See, I knew that. 18 right, ILS, boff. There we go. We're going to be using Red 1A as our star. Now, fires. Let's go and see what it's got in mind for us. Go. Right, let's step through this again. Bum 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 bum. That is looking good. So we've got a flight plan discontinuity here, which I guess is where the our standard arrival ends, and you would be vectored by ATC to this point here and then come in and land. But seeing as we don't have ATC, I'm just going to clear that today, which should draw us a nice little line. Oh, that's nice. This is all going well. You debated today to go out and buy the Thrustmaster add-on for the Airbus throttle pack. You've got the flaps. Right, that is really weird because I almost did the same thing. I was looking on Amazon, I was like, should I do it? Basically, I'm quite hard to buy for at Christmas, and I think everyone just took the easy route and got the Amazon vouchers. So I'm pretty flush with Amazon vouchers right now, so it's kind of like, well, I could get a the add-on, because I've got the throttle quadrant at the moment. But like you say, the flaps and the speed brake and all the other stuff, 90 quid in curries, yeah, it's not bad, is it? Well, it's quite a lot for a few switches, but nevertheless, I approve. But then I thought, well, what if I get the Thrustmaster yoke? Because I thought around Black Friday it was about $250, which is a lot of money. Like, let's not beat about the bush. It's a lot of money. So I kind of thought to myself, well, now I've got these vouchers. I've got like about £100 in vouchers. That means I only have to pay $150, which is still a lot, but it's not as painful. And then I went to check on Amazon, and of course the price has gone up. So basically, the whole price increase completely negates my vouchers. So I'm basically waiting to see if it's going to drop in price. That's my plan, anyway. I was reading that maybe the Thrustmaster yoke, just the yoke on its own, pairs very, very well with the Airbus throttle quadrant. A lot of the reviewers are saying that the throttle quadrant that comes with the Thrustmaster Boeing yoke isn't really that good. For example, the reverse thrusters apparently are either on or they're off. There's no kind of like, you know, sliding scale, which I was a bit surprised about. And secondarily, you've got the flaps lever, which has no detents in it. So it's just like a sliding scale, so you just sort of have to move it and wait until you hear the click, which to me sounds weird. Then someone suggested actually if you get the Thrustmaster throttle quadrants and then just buy the yoke on its own, you've got a fairly nice little setup there. So I'm sort of investigating the pros and cons of that. I think there'll be a few things like the flap detents for the Airbus aren't going to line up entirely with the Boeing, so there might be a few gotchas. But yeah, we'll see. Right, flight directors are on. What's local pressure? On 008. Flight directors are on. Now, what are our constraints on the way out? Because Gatwick, yeah, look at all this, look. So, above 3,000, above 4,000. Isn't 6 the limit? Oh, it's 5 actually. 5,000. So we'll do 5,000 in the window. That makes sense. Thrust levers are set to idle. Let's lock the door. Don't want any weirdos coming in. There we go. It's looking good. That's looking good. Okay, parking brake is set. Windows are closed. External power is off but available. AP bleed is on. Seatbelt lights are on. Let's get our beacon light on. We're going to start to think about pushing back, I think. Right, let's have a look. What's the best way to push back? Is that van still attached to us? I thought I told that van to go. The external power van, that is. Ground power unit. Away you go. Okay, I think the pushback plan will be... we'll go back and then put our tail round to the left here, I think. That's the plan. That's the plan. Right. Pushback. Let's turn the pushback system on. Yes, we do actually want to use it. Tug, if you'd be so kind. Excellent. Right. Let's just zoom my view out a bit here so I get a sense of perspective. So, parking brake off. See if the tug can push us back. Yeah, it feels like one of those Thrustmaster yokes, JD, could be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Might also encourage me to fly the 737 a bit more. Always feels like a bit of a cheat flying it with a joystick. I mean, it'll be a massive, massive learning curve. Absolutely huge. I mean, I did a 737 sim experience back in the summer, and the biggest thing by far was just trying to figure out the feel of that yoke, because you get so used to the joystick and not really having to move the inputs that far to actually have the plane at its maximum input. And just the amount of swing in that yoke really took me back. And the fact that it pivots from the floor. Because again, like if you can compare and contrast to like a Cessna or like a general aviation sort of plane, it's almost like you've just got like a post that comes out of the dashboard that the yoke is attached to, but it's very, very different in the Boeing. The pivot point is right on the floor by your feet, and obviously the post comes all the way out from the floor. Right, we want to go. Look at that. You're going to need a bigger desk. Yeah, you and me both. I'm getting short on space out here in the shed as it is. Yeah, like taking off in the 737 in that sim and talking to the guys that were running it, they were like, this is a yoke out of a Boeing. Like, this is as near as you can get to being in the aircraft in terms of all the buttons and the switches and the yoke and the feel and the weight and all that stuff. Really surprised me how much you really had to pull that yoke back. Like, you almost had to like pull it into your chest almost to get the thing off the ground. It's quite remarkable. Right, I think we'll leave it there. That's quite a successful pushback. They don't normally go as smoothly as that. Right, let's tell the tug to clear off. Right, let's get some engines on, shall we? So let's get the engines mode into ignition. Parking brake is on. That's always good. Let's go into this view, shall we? I can move around then with my controller. Come back a bit and zoom in. Get a nice little depth of field effect going on. Right, see if we get engine start. Okay, that's weird. That is weird. In the in that view I was just in, when I was using like the drone camera, starting the engine with my Thrustmaster switches wouldn't work. Do I not use the engine start on my thruster panel? Yes, I do, or I did rather, and I had some weird behaviour with it, so I stopped. It would start clicking and go like on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off until I put it back to the neutral position. Plus I figure doing it with the mouse and, you know, clicking around the cockpit, it gives people, gives viewers a better sense of what's going on as well, so you kind of have to factor that into it as well when you're streaming. There we go, now we've got engines. I love the depth of field you can get with this camera. Although it's annoying when it snaps from like there. It's like, no. Nice. Right, let's hop back in. We're just waiting on these to get there, but that's pretty good to me. Right, let's put our engine switch back to normal. Got a little bit to do up here. APU bleed off. APU master off. Now we'll put our strobes on. We'll put our nose lights to taxi. We'll do runway turn off, it's a little bit dim out there, so. Yeah, where the ignition switch goes on and off on its own. I don't know why that is. I went for ages without having an issue, and then just one day it started being weird, so that was enough to put me off. Right. Auto brake. Set that to max. And we will set our flaps to 1. Yeah, nice. Arm the ground spoilers. Rudder set to 0, that's good. Okay. Dare I say it? I think we're good to start taxiing. Parking brake off, and let's mosey on down, shall we? I think I know the way. Roughly. Worth having a quick look at the old chart. Let's basically do a left out of here and keep going straight. We should be onto a winner. Let's crank these screens up a touch. It is after all a bit dim. Okay, so we should be coming past 26 right. We want to go straight across and join 26 left. So 26 right will be just down here. You can see it there. But it ends sort of around here, so we're going to go straight on over. That is 26 left, right ahead of us, I do believe. I think we'll scoot round to the left. And then around to the right here. Birdie. We'll just hold short here for a second. I'll just sort lights out and then we'll get going. Right. Lights are good. Takeoff config normal. It's always good. I don't know how to get rid of that where it says cabin check. I must look into that. Not seeing anything at all obvious. Anyway, that's for another day. Let's go and get ourselves lined up. And we'll go and see what Amsterdam has in store for us. One of these days I'm gonna do a turn and burn on stream, I think. Just like turn onto the runway and just immediately go. Two-six left. We found it. Good job, everyone. Right, 5,000 in the window. What's our speed restriction on the way up? 220, then 250. We'll start at 220. It's too far. Nice. Right, let's go to Amsterdam. Okay, toga engaged. Not too much rudder required, stay on the centre line, as it is really not that windy today. And let's rotate. Positive rate, gear up. To climb. Not sure why it just lost our speed in the window there. That was a little bit concerning. see a bit now. Let's get the map on. Yeah, not a bad takeoff, JD. It was a little bit weird there, the way our speed was lost. So when I put the levers into climb, it's like the plane wanted to drop down to like 140 knots, which obviously we didn't want, as we're trying to get this thing up in the air. It's a gloomy old day, that's for sure. I love it when the clouds break. Right. No bongers going off here, so that's always good. It's always good. We've got new graphics cards next week as well, so that's always going to be that's always an interesting time for me. See if I can resist a new graphics card being launched. We'll say it's for noise level, shall we? Should we go with that? Alright, let's get ourselves up to 250. Let's just go managed. Plane can do it from here. So what's the plan? We're staying at... We need to be above 4,000 at the next waypoint, which we are. Then 5,000. Then we stay at 5,000 all the way to May, and it's not until we get to Frayne we can get ourselves up to 290. Then we need to get ourselves back down to 85 Sugal. Let's pop that in here a moment. Sugal. 175 to Sugal. So inside of 175 miles we need to climb and come back down. So it's a very short flight, but it's cool. I like it. Yeah, Newcastle to Amsterdam's a lovely little flight, isn't it? That was one of the first flights I ever did on this channel. And then I did it again when I first started streaming. And it's before I had my mic set up, so it was just basically no commentary, just the plane flying around. And, God, I remember I came into Newcastle, there's so much wind. I was like, oh no. And there's loads of people watching. I don't know why, but YouTube decided then would be the time to push my stream to everybody. Give the new kid a chance. I was like, oh no, I've got all this wind in Newcastle, I'm going to make such a mess of it. And I don't know how I got down. It got down okay. And it wasn't like the best landing in the world, but it was certainly not a catastrophe by any means. But then still happy, which is good. Right, let me get some windows up here. I'm going to drag this onto my other monitor. Yeah, fair enough. Being a Sunderland fan. Oh, you just can't see a thing today, can you? Look at it, it's just cloud, cloud, cloud. And it's quite an interesting departure from Gatwick, because they keep you low for so long. You basically have to wrap most of the way around London before you can start clearing off to where you should be going at your proper altitude. Yeah, I'm just looking at the chart now. So you take off from Gatwick, go all the way around the bottom of London, all the way up across Essex, or Kent rather, then into Essex, still at 5,000 feet until you get to Clacton on Sea. That's a long time to be at 5,000 feet. Oh, we can almost see something. No, we can't. False alarm. It's just the scratches in the window, looking like roads as the clouds dissipated. Hey, I'm looking forward to the A330 from Aerosoft. That's going to be cool. It's going to be a good year, I think. Good year for planes on the sim. What have we got? Possibly an A380 from Fly-by-Wire. Although they won't give us a date, of course, because why would they? It's open source, it's voluntary. We've got Aerosoft with their A330. Maybe PMDG with their 777. Depends how long they take about it, I guess. But which again is all the more motivation to get that yoke. If you're going to fly a Boeing, you need to fly it with a yoke, I think. I don't feel too bad about it. It's not like I spent too much money on the Airbus stuff, especially if I reused the throttle quadrant, as some of the reviewers suggest you do. And the joystick itself I got on sale, so it wasn't a huge amount of money. And in a way it's quite nice to fly Airbus with the joystick, because of course that is how it should be done. And it's quite nice to fly Boeing with the yoke, because that is how they should be done. It's kind of like a... feels like you're doing it right in both cases. Or maybe I'm just being a bit pedantic, I don't know. So we should have a turn any second. There we go. Still staying at 5,000 feet for another 19 miles as we head up over Kent into Essex. Hustle to Dubai, yeah. I think my challenge is I kind of like this channel being almost like my own little virtual airline. But the trouble is, with every new plane, then comes the obligation to make a livery for it. And I've only managed to figure out how to do it for this so far. So any other plane except the A320 I don't have a livery for. Which is a bit of a pain. Alright, let's just check in up here, make sure nothing's beeping. Doesn't seem to be. Yeah, the PMDG 777 would be awesome. Oh yeah, the liveries, they're such a can of worms. I mean, I spent so many evenings just looking at the at how to do it, tweaking it. I mean, I got there in the end. I mean, I didn't really get to where I wanted to be with it, but I managed to get something. Sweet Aviation, hello, how you doing? Oh, look out, Jameson's back. How are you all? Happy New Year. Nice to see you all in the chat. So we're just heading out of Gatwick, doing that, the Dagenham 1X SID, so they're keeping us real low for a long time. Another 10 miles at 5,000 feet and we can get ourselves up to flight level 290, but then it's really not going to be long and we're going to be descending, so I don't even know if we'll make 290, to be quite honest with you. We'll see. So I'm currently looking out the window to Kent. I don't know what that looks like, a motorway there. Is that the motorway down to Dover? Are we flying on VATSIM or no? We're not flying on either. Just on our own tonight. Hello, Nick. Happy New Year, mate. Hope you're well. Hope you had a nice time. Getting quite a bit of pop-in with the live weather today. Just enjoying your new PC. Oh, nice. What's in it? What'd you get? Evening, Europe. Has a notification just gone out? Because like, all of a sudden you've all appeared in the chat after like ages. Happy New Year to you, Europe. Happy New Year indeed. Evening, Squidward. How you doing? Yes, I do remember you, of course. The RTX 37. Yeah, we got the same, haven't we? You got the i7-11700F. That's a nice chip. 16 gig of RAM. Wonderful. Right, we can start climbing up to flight level 290. Whether we'll get there in time remains to be seen. Because it's literally, we're going to climb and then come back down. Quality's not bad. What resolution is that at? Is that 1080p? 4K? $1440. Yeah, that's about right. I mean, you could enable DLSS as well, of course. That might help you out. Okay, how many miles are we? 137 miles to Sugol. I can't see us making flight level 290 in time, you know. Why does the A320 on the thing show as a Q400? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Alright, so we're coming up on 10,000 feet. Almost there. We should have some music. Let's have some music. Right, standard pressure. Let's get our lights off. What do I use for my music? I use Stream Beats by Harris Heller. It's basically copyright-free, royalty-free music that he makes. Puts it onto Spotify, Apple Music, you know, all those places. and he makes an absolute fortune from it, because of course streamers are just going to put it on and leave it on all day just looping, and he gets a royalty every single time someone plays it. So, clever boy for figuring that one out. You got to hand it to him. I think he said he makes $160,000 a month. We did at one point anyway. And that was ages ago. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, eh? Right, we need to do a bit of a top of descent calculation, I think, because this is all going to come at us quite quickly. So we're going to be at flight level 290, and we need to get back down to 8500. If we were to do that at 2,000 feet per oh, hit the wrong button. That leaves us 69 miles to do it. What if we do it at like 1,500 feet? 92 miles. And how far are we away? 125. Whoops. Okay. Let's do that at 2,000 feet per minute. 70 miles required. So we're doing 3,000 feet per minute. So we've probably got another 4 or 5 minutes of this. Yeah, dropping like a stone will be fine. I think we'll just have to use the speed brakes to basically make sure we get back down. Isn't MSFS a real-time flight sim? Yeah. Yes, it is. You can do live weather. I mean, you can speed it up, of course. If you want to do like a transatlantic flight and you just didn't want to sit looking at the ocean for 6 hours, you can speed things up a little bit. You can sort of do 2x, 4x, 8x, and maybe 16x, I think. But I know with the fly-by-wire, they cap you at 4x, because I think there comes a point where if the sim is going too fast, the plane can't quite gather what's going on. We can use the 747 more this year. The problem is, Nick, is that I don't have time to do long-haul stuff. Not really. So the only real way we can do long-haul stuff is if I pre-record it. Then we could use the 747. But of course there'd be pre-recorded streams. So I'd make a video and then stream out the video, which feels a little bit like a cheat. But that's really the only way we could do it. Okay, so we have 40 miles before top of this. Oh no. 77 miles. Blimey. Yeah, we're literally going to hit top of descent. Oh yeah, there's no way you could land at 16x. No way at all. I mean, cruising at 16x is bad enough. Like, you'll notice if you try it, you don't kind of just go in a straight line. The plane is constantly bobbing up and down, like potentially by a swing of like 1,000 feet either way. Just because it's constantly trying to compensate for like the lack of data it's getting from the sim, because it's all moving past it so fast. I mean, I've thought about it. I mean, I don't know what you all think. I'll put a community post up in the coming days, but I was thinking about maybe doing some more, like, slightly more produced full flight videos. But obviously I don't want people just to have to sit through like a 5-hour cruise. It'd be more like, not dissimilar to what we've just done, really, in this stream. Where I'll be there sort of talking through what we're doing, get us up in the air, sort of probably to around this point, maybe a bit before now. Then maybe sort of set us to a view like this, and then fast forward it until we get to where we're going. That was one idea I had. So I guess a full flight, regardless of, you know, where we're going, would probably be like a 20-minute video, 25-minute video. From a cold and dark start, get us up, get us down. So I don't know whether people would like that. I look at some of the YouTubers that do very, very well at videos like that, so I think maybe I could do like one a week or one a fortnight to start with. See how it goes. Longest flight. How long was that in terms of hours, JD? Right, so we've got 90 miles until our waypoint where we need to be at 8,500 feet. And we need 85 miles, oh no, to do it. About 3.5 hours. Right, so it's time to descend. We're 2,000 feet short, but it is time to descend. Sorry. 8,500 feet, let's go. 2,000 feet a minute. Okay, so engines should start rolling back. Yes, they are. Yeah, very, very short flight, this one. It's one of those where you're up and you're down. It's already asking us to enter our destination data, look. Okay, so let's have a looky. 1010, 160 and 7. Okay, so the wind's died down a bit. It has increased the angle relative to our runway by an additional 10 degrees. It was at 170, we're coming in at 180. There shouldn't be too much to worry about. 1010, 11 degrees, 160 and 7. 160/7, pop that in there, and it's 11 degrees, wasn't it? 200 in the radio field. That's good. Hey Loco, how's it going? Long time no see. Happy New Year to you too. Hope you're well. We're just descending into Amsterdam. Very, very quick flight out of Gatwick. Always amazes me how quick it is, but so this is where we need to be at 8,500 feet. As long as we're beneath 10, we should be okay. Then where do we go from there? So at that point we've got 43 miles to drop 6,500 feet, so that should be fine. So really that one there is the priority, and we need to be at 250 knots. I foresee no issues. Seeing as you're all here, I just wanted to say thank you really for the support last year. I can't believe we are where we are. I was saying at the start of the stream before some of you turned up that it's almost a year to the day. I think it is what we are now, obviously it's the 1st of January today. Well, for me it is anyway. I've got a funny feeling it's like the 3rd or the 4th of Jan last year when I decided to upload my first video. So it's very strange coming up on exactly a year. But when I started, I kind of thought it'd be nice to have 1,000 by this time next year, and we've doubled that, so that's awesome. And it's been awesome seeing, like, you know, the same names keep popping up in chat. Feels like we've got a little community on the go, and I love it, so appreciate you all. You're on holiday now, flew to Warsaw with Lufthansa with an A320neo, lovely. Never flown with them. I guess if you want to go go on a 747. They're a pretty good bet these days, aren't they? But then for me, that would mean having to fly to Germany to then fly to America or wherever I'm going. So I'd be going the wrong way for a little while first, perhaps. They've got a few of these 747-8s, haven't they? I think. I did see a really interesting documentary on YouTube. A couple of Lufthansa pilots. They were going down to this airfield in Spain where all the planes basically got parked during COVID, or a lot of planes. And the plan was they had like loads of A340s that were down there, so kind of older planes. And the idea was that it was like a braking yard. So the A340s were there, so kind of scheduled to be broken apart and sold for parts. But then coming out of COVID, all of this demand for air travel has suddenly just resurged out of nowhere. So actually, rather than breaking them down, it was like, no, don't take them to bits. We need to wake them up. So they were sort of going through this whole phase of bringing them back to life. Oh, you saw the same thing? Yeah, it's fascinating, wasn't it? Yeah, really fascinating. How are we doing up here? Let's have a look. 43 miles to go. Got 88,000 feet minimum to do. That's it. Yeah. The flap. Is it like a fairing or something? Like one of those bits there. Didn't like somebody use like a scissor lift and like smash into it basically. Such a cloudy day today. I mean, we're using real weather, but obviously I've basically put the time back by a few hours because I figured it'd be nice for us to fly in the daylight. Oh, they've got a 787. Is it true that on the 787 you don't get as bad jet lag? I'm sure I heard that. I think the rationale is because you can pressurize them to a higher pressure versus what you can with a aluminium fuselage because they're carbon fiber. So you just feel that little bit less groggy when you get off them. Now, if we set 250, curious as to whether the plane's going to be able to do it, because we do have a tailwind, and we are descending at 2,000 feet per minute, which is not nothing. It's quite a... Yeah, it's not going to, is it? Speed brakes will be required, I think. Been on the A350. Are you making me jealous now? I feel like with COVID I haven't really flown properly in a long time, and when I have done, I've only flown the once, and that was to Prague, and that was an A320 both ways, albeit different airlines, Eurowings then EasyJet. Big fan of Eurowings though, they're decent. Ten out of 10, would recommend. No, it's funny, I only thought of that this afternoon actually, then I was like, I haven't had time to get out here, and then it was time to stream, and then here we are. But actually the new pushback tools on this fly-by-wire greatly improved over what we had previously. Yeah, a really nice system they've got on the go now. I mean, it's not perfect, but far and away beyond what we've had. Can you remind me what it was called? Right, time for some lights. Local pressure, I still believe, is 1010. Yes, it is. Oh, thank you, sorry. Only if you know it off the top of your head. No need to look it up, I can figure it out. I don't want to put you to any trouble. There we go. 8,500 feet ahead of schedule. $12 miles to go. Easy peasy. So there we have it. So let's do a little top of descent calculation, shall we? For our next little bit. So if we're at 8,500 and we want to go down to 2,000 feet, 17 miles at 2,000 feet per minute, or 23 versus 17. So we're going to go to Airbus E-E-V-O-S, whack that in there, 36 miles. Not far now. Not far at all. We've also got to get down to 220 knots as well. So it's only a 30 knot reduction in speed, so it's not loads. Got about, what, 10 miles? Decel point there. That's fine. Toolbar pushback, thank you. Yeah, I remember now. Thank you very much. I will look into it. Get rid of those speed brakes now. Oh, you use it too? Okay, cool. Okay, I'm going to start our descent now, down to 2,000, and we'll do it at 1,500 feet per minute. Should give us plenty of time. Because we also need to factor in a 30 knot reduction in speed as well. need a little bit of speed brakes, I think. Oh, you're waiting to get back on the sim? Yeah, I had that feeling over Christmas. What with, first of all, sort of kids being off school, that was kind of got in the way of my normal schedule. Then we got sick, we got the flu, and of course, when you're ill, you just don't want to do anything. I don't think I've been that ill in like 15 or 20 years. That really nailed me, that flu. I was sure it was COVID, but the test would disagree. Actually, we'll keep our speed where we are for now, I think. What's the update on the wind? 160 and 7, so it says. Wow. Welcome back, Jameson. Welcome back. Can just about make out the coastline there, I think. Are there any new aircraft this year? Well, I don't know what the schedule is for the 777 from PMDG. All a bit hush-hush, I think, at the moment, isn't it? I think they're working on it. And I think the development will accelerate once they've released all the variants of their 737, which I'm not sure if they have. They've done the 900 now, haven't they? But I don't know if that marks the end of .737 releases. Yeah, that's right, Loco. I mean, we kind of referred to it as COVID, or feels like COVID, but isn't COVID. But yeah, it really, really knocked the stuffing out of us. I looked on the NHS website here in the UK, and every single symptom that they said what the flu can be, we had it. So. Yeah, it was not fun. But yeah, as a result, going back to your original point, I really started to miss the sim. Really did. Okay, let's get our landing system on. You can see we've got some glide slopes on the go there. That's always good.
$2,500.
Gear down. First stage of flaps. Coming up on 2,000 feet, so our descent should stop, which it is. That's good. And let's get those flaps all the way out. Because it ain't going to be long. Dropping right down now to 131 knots, I believe, is our approach speed. Yes, it is. Oh, we're getting some rain as well. So this is where we turn into Amsterdam on final. Runway's still about 10 miles out. I'm going to get rid of the map, just because I think we can all agree we're now basically in Amsterdam. So, go. Lovely. Let's get the approach mode on to get us started. We'll do auto brake, medium. Flaps are full, gear is down. Speed brakes are armed. Indy, you are just in time. Oh, it's a rainy old approach today, isn't it? Oh, I hope so too, Nick. It'd be nice to have a good one to get us started, but you never know. You never know. So the wind is currently not what it said it would be, 209 and 18, and it's reporting 160 and 7. So perhaps the lower we get, that will change. Maybe. Yeah, cross your fingers and toes. Tray tables up. Armrests in the up position. One of these days, Indy, you'll get your go around. And honestly, today might be that day. I'm a bit rusty. I've not really flown much. Just saying to Loco, what of having the flu over Christmas, and I did one stream a couple of nights ago. That's like my first one back. But yeah, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's no joke. Gotta keep the axe sharp. So I feel like I'm in a bit of a bad place at the moment in terms of that. Which is why I wanted to get up. I didn't have a lot of time tonight really to stream. I was a bit like, well, do I maybe not do it? I was like, no, you've got to get out there and do it. Get out in that shed and start flying. Just getting a visual now. Just. So we're doing a little bit of a crab, so we're sort of pointed to the right of the runway. Very, very slight crab, although it does look like that is reducing now. Right then. Let's get rid of the autopilot. Give you what you came here to see, me potentially making a mess of it. Just be pointing over to the left just a little bit more. Snaking our way down here. Blimey. Does feel a bit blustery.
400.
Blimey, yeah, that is a bit windy. Oof. Getting blown around up here. Right. Too high, damn it.
300.
Okay.
200 minimum.
I tell you what, that was a fair bit of wind back there.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10. 5.
There it is. That wasn't so bad. A little bit floaty there last minute, but it did make for a very nice soft touchdown. so I'll take it. Yeah, that wind was, I don't know, it's really weird. I'm never sure, like, kind of how much of the wind you can kind of feel through the sim. Obviously, I can feel it because I'm the one putting the input into the plane to fight it. But yeah, that wind, all of a sudden, kind of about 500 feet. That was quite gusty for a moment there. It was almost like the sim was loading in a new set of weather and it kind of hit the plane all of a sudden. Then I had to compensate for it. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that as a landing. Where do we go? Where's the terminal? Must be up ahead, right? So there's nothing behind us. Yeah, see, I'm never sure whether that is kind of true to life, or if that's just like the sim kind of bugging out a little bit, you know? Never sure about that. Obviously, I'm not a real pilot, so I don't really know what I would actually expect on the way down. It's a funny one. But that definitely felt like the weather changed. Like, completely. I kind of felt like I had the crab angle set up. I was kind of holding it, and then all of a sudden, boff, it all changed. Maybe that is what real pilots have to deal with. But it definitely felt more like a bit flipping in the software than the wind gracefully changing. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me, JD. It just feels like the weather system's just suddenly getting a new set of data for like 500 feet. Hence, it all of a sudden feels different. Which isn't the greatest, really. Does anyone know where I need to be going? Because I'm completely lost. I mean, there's a tower, so... We'll just keep meandering this way for a minute. The low visibility doesn't help either. I'll maybe try and do some Googling on that, because like you say, the 500 feet mark, it definitely feels like there's something going on there at 500 feet. It's like the weather noticeably changes. And I guess if you know to anticipate it, that's okay, but it's not the greatest. Okay, it feels like the terminal should be over this way. This is such a long taxi. Am I going the right way? Feels like I am, from memory anyway. Like a fool, I didn't load up a chart for the when I get to Amsterdam. Oh, this looks a bit bumpy. This does not look ideal. Down we go. No, you're absolutely right. That's kind of where to me it just seems a bit odd. I mean, if you kind of imagine how it might work for the sim, almost think like a computer. It's kind of like you've got a set of weather data from X altitude to Y altitude. It's almost like when you get to 500 feet, a new lot loads in. So that then becomes your weather, and the wind changes, and it all kind of happens a bit at once as it reloads it in, and the plane sort of gets thrown around. But yeah, all of a sudden I just felt this big old drift pulling me in one direction, which wasn't there at all. Maybe I'll ask around on some forums. Right, there's got to be a gate up here, right? Surely there's got to be a gate. Yeah, I think you're right. Similar if you toggle the switch for live weather, toggle that on and off, and you see the plane get thrown around as the weather gets loaded in or loaded out. I think it's a similar story. Right, that looks like a terminal up ahead. It better be. 'Cause you can't spend all night taxiing around Amsterdam trying to find a gate. What we can do is get the APU ready to start. We go this way? Feels like we should go this way. These taxiways feel a little bit bugged as well, while we're complaining about things. I'm trying to find bars a few times. I've never been to Amsterdam. I'd like to go. One of those places that's always been there, kind of in the back of my mind, like, oh yeah, one day I'm going to go to Amsterdam. I just never have. I don't really have a good reason for it either. I was going to say, yeah, this is a big old airport, isn't it? It's absolutely enormous. Just so spread out. Makes Heathrow look small, doesn't it? Right, I'm gonna hazard a guess that we go to the right here. This is enormous. See a silhouette of a plane, so we must be close. Can't be far off. Can't see us fitting up there, can you? Whoops. Silly boy. Looking out the side window, not looking where we're going. This will be worth it when we find the gate, I promise you. And I just simply end the stream as soon as we get there. You'll be so glad you stuck around to the end. Oh, another bump. Yeah, these taxiways, Tug, get out of the way. Goodness, this just goes on and on and on. I mean, I knew it was a big airport, but blimey, didn't know it's this big. If you think about the distance that we've taxied, that's a huge distance. Like, I know Heathrow's a big airport, but like, nothing like this in terms of square footage. somewhere to park. Yeah, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. Still, it's good for my view time. Got to get to those 4,000 hours somehow. Get the channel monetized and start paying towards the insane electricity bill that my sim rig generates. Right, because Air Not is such a terrible airline, we're going to park here and have a bus come to get the passengers. Here we go. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Amsterdam. Thank you for flying with this questionable airline. We hope to see you on board again soon. There we go, right, parking brake. APU is fired up, so in theory, if I turn the engines off, the plane should stay alive. There it is. Cheers, JD. Appreciate you sticking around for the... Well, I mean, you were here from the start, weren't you? But yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. And I'll put up a community post. I've got a few questions I want to sort of put to you all. One of which will be where should we fly next, so maybe you can comment on that and we'll come to an agreement among ourselves where we're going to go. I was thinking it might be cool to do something over towards Singapore, just because never really been over there. Yeah, not sure. But keep an eye out for the community posts. Feel free to comment, and I will see you all next time. You look after yourselves, and have a Happy New Year.